Good morning, everyone. Should be hearing me okay. I was running back upstairs. I heard the girl, and I was like, "Oh God!" Had to refill that coffee. You guys know how I love my coffee. Uh, definitely good. Yeah. So after like 2 days of I actually I crashed early last night. It was nice. Woke up today though, still not fully refreshed. So I was like, "All right, we're going back to the coffee thing here." So, all right. So, been some decent movement. A lot of it is centered around the pound slash dollar. Both those currencies have, definitely had some movement. Hopefully, some of you guys took advantage of the CPI for the pound. It was an easy setup on that one. The 2.5 coming above the 2.2. Again, not unexpected. I didn't think it'd be that high. I was expecting like a 2.3 ish, 2.3, 2.4. So 2.5 is actually higher than what I assumed, but I knew it was going to be green. Um, we've seen it across the board every other country, so not surprised whatsoever that it went up that high. Um, PPI also expected green numbers. I was curious to see if we were going to get like in that like point 0.8, point 0.9 range. I think that the fact that core was double, we'll see. I don't know if you guys heard my tirade this morning. I had like a big conversation with Dan about it. I was like, yeah, I'm just totally confused. Really kind of just like I don't know, like I really just don't understand what Powell could actually say at this point. His comments from what was going to happen, the semi-annual, some of this stuff in here is just absolute. I'm like, kind of like I feel like Powell has been replaced with a robot, right? Um, you know, it, we were winding back, I guess at this point, like year, 2 years or whatever, when you know, it was like all like the drama with like, Bernie. It's like, oh, socialism, we're going to take it and divide the wealth. It's like, you're not dividing any wealth. Like the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. And they're only making the situation even worse. So I'm kind of really confused. Like, who's pulling the strings at this point, right? Um, Nancy's husband's making millions of dollars over there, with insider trading. Um, yeah, originally it was July. Now it's like, it's going to stay elevated in the coming months. Well, what happened in July, Jerome? That's what you were saying, right? Before it's not going to ease for much later. So he keeps changing his target, right? I mean, how many times you have to change the target before people really question? Do you have any idea what you're actually talking about, right? And again, I used to have like a lot of faith in the Fed, but now I just feel like it's like another. It's like a, I don't know. I feel like it's like a puppet for like the federal government, like whoever is pulling the strings. So yeah, and talking about all this stuff, we're gonna deliver powerful support. It's like great now, like. Does he have the speech writer for Trump talking about like do we have to throw adjectives in there? Like you just can't say we're going to continue to deliver support, or like strong support, right? People don't understand what strong means, but now we're going to powerful. Like we're making the adjectives even better until recovery is complete, which is interesting because there have been some Fed presidents that have said that we're recovered, right? The recovery's here. We're done, right? We've recovered, right? Nobody's closed down. Nobody's not working. We can't get employees, right? We're trying to get more people to work. Like there's, it's kind of a big problem right now that people are not going back to work. Um, and yeah, it's one of those things. Um, yeah, not exactly sure. I mean, like, if recovery is not complete now, what else do we need for recovery? I'm just curious. Does anybody know? Right? I think Pal might just say whatever he's told to do. Yeah, I mean, what else do we actually need? Like, what would this take? We're going to offer powerful support until recovery is complete. Well, what else do we need? What are we not recovered? Like, what's not going on? I mean, I know my state has no restrictions anymore whatsoever. Um, Pretty much everywhere I've heard of no restrictions. Um, I mean, at this point, Mother Nature is the only one putting restrictions on, right? You know, extreme heat, no air conditioning, but that has nothing to do with COVID and any type of recovery. So, yeah, I'm curious. I mean, indices are at all time highs, right? Inflation's starting to go crazy. Can't get enough, can't hire people fast enough. Earnings are going up. McDonald's is like now, like, I saw something yesterday that talked about McDonald's is now offering daycare as well as additional benefits for part-time employees. So I mean, that's a sign like when McDonald's is like, listen, we will watch your kids and do this. We just need people to work. Like, I don't know. How are we not recovered? I'm just I don't know. So yeah, and we're still we're still a ways off from the progress we need for bond buying. It's like, huh? I mean, uh, I don't know. I mean, there's obviously demand out there. I mean, I guess maybe production. The people selling automation are going to make a killing in the coming month. Oh yeah, absolutely, Neuro. Absolutely. I mean, before COVID happened, there was already the big drive like McDonald's, and I gotta say, I didn't mind it at all. You know, you go in there, it's all touchscreen. You say what you want. You want this. I want this extra. You want this extra. You put it in there, and boom. So if the order gets screwed up, it's pretty much on you at that point, right? I mean, they have two people that checks the order to make sure that this is this. But I mean, if you think about it, if you would go into a McDonald's, what's like always like the slowest part is you waiting in line for somebody to take your order because they're doing other things as well. But if you can send it automatically back there by yourself, then it's your problem. It's like, oh, I got a large. I told you I wanted a medium. It's like, nope, right here it says large, sir. Sorry, you hit the wrong button. All right, you're right. It is my mistake. Right? So I don't know. I just feel like I actually didn't mind it. I liked it. I would go in there and go do 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 done out. Like I could hit the buttons faster than the people behind, and there was less errors. Right? Some of Mickey Days didn't care. Yeah, but so yeah, I don't exactly know what he's saying here. The fact that we're still a ways off. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, again, markets are at basically at all time high. So if you start not buying as much stuff and they pull back a little bit, is that going to be a problem? I mean, I don't know. We're seeing all the goods and services get more and more expensive, but yet they're making great profits. And yeah, I'm and I love this one. Strong job gains expected to continue in coming months as health crisis continues easing. Yeah, right. And according to what we've been told too, if you are vaccinated, and again, everybody's decision, but if you are vaccinated, it has good data against the Delta variant. So they're seeing spikes in the coronavirus in some areas for unvaccinated people. So I mean, it's up to you. If you choose not to get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. If you are vaccinated, great. You don't have as much fear. I mean, it's kind of like I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing with the flu, right? I mean, anybody can die from the flu. Me personally, I didn't. Every time I got the flu virus, the vaccine, I got the flu, and I was in pharmaceuticals. Um, I don't know why, but I was not the only one that happened to. So I just didn't. I just don't take it. But I mean, that's my risk. I carry a higher risk level of doing that. You know, but we don't close the economy down for the flu, right? So I don't know. Totally confused, right? And Dan and I were like, yeah, it makes no sense. Um, and then again, nobody like. Could you imagine? Like, and this is the funny thing. So we were laughing about this earlier today, and I figured I'd share with you guys. So like, imagine like I don't know. I was trying to think of the equivalent, like Mitch, right? Everybody knows who Mitch is, right? Imagine if Trump was still president and Mitch's wife was putting some type of options position on in, say, an oil company 3 weeks before Trump approved the pipeline, right? What would the press have been saying, right? There would have been pitchforks and protests left and right if Mitch's wife put on $1 million position 3 weeks before something came out. But yet Nancy's husband's doing it, and he's put more positions on, and nobody's batting an eye, right? So this is the world we live in, right? Um, I will say, you Texas folk, I know there's a lot of them out there. Gotta say, I love the Texas thing is hysterical. The Democrats like we're going to leave the state so they can't force us to vote, and then I guess the fact that it's illegal for them to do that they can be arrested. I'm like, man, Texas has like the best rules. Like I feel like it's like, hey, we're going to leave the state. Like Republicans are bad, but you're leaving the state, so I don't know. I feel like and I do like Tez. He's like, oh, they're getting on airplanes that they most certainly had to show, ID for, but yet you don't even want that included in voting. And I do. I'm a believer. If you're voting, I feel like you need to show an ID. I need to do it to buy drinks. I don't smoke, but if you buy cigarettes, you have to show it. To get on an airplane, you have to do it. You got to show ID everywhere else, but I don't understand why that's a big deal. It shouldn't be, right? I don't think it should be. I don't know why. It's kind of the same thing. Like you want, I it's like if I wanted to buy a firearm, do I need to show an ID to buy a firearm? I mean, maybe, right? Why? Because that's important. But I mean, isn't voting important also? Right? But if you're leaving the state and then, hey, listen, there's rules. You can be arrested for doing that. It's like, go Texas, go Texas. Um, I'm telling you, the next time they vote for Texas to leave, I'm going to tell my sister just said she's definitely voting. I'm going to Texas. I'm moving there too. I love it. If you already have to show ID to vote, you already do have to do it. Um, it's not, no, it's not, right? And like you would think, and like they're like, oh, it's not fair to other people. It's like, what? I mean, if those people want to travel anywhere, then sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's just crazy. I mean, think about it. For school, right? Even in schools, you have a student ID card, right? I mean, to drive a car, you have to have an. I mean, if you get pulled over, they're not going to say, "Oh, you know, license and registration." Yeah, right. I don't know why it's a big deal. Maryland, we don't have to show ID. They don't care. You just tell them your address, and they're like, "Yep, okay." So it's not a big thing in Maryland either. And I just don't understand if that's just you want. Here's the thing: it's such an easy thing to put in. It just you know just do it, right? Just do it. What's the reasoning to not show that it'll discourage people that don't believe in documentation? That that there are lower income or like immigrant families that don't have like driver's licenses and things like that. But again, it goes back to if you're here, shouldn't you have some type of ID card? I mean, my wife came here from Canada; she had an ID card. That it does. But at the same time, if you're not legally here, should you be voting? No, no, I don't believe so, right? And we have rules that citizens have to abide by. Why wouldn't everybody have to abide by the same rules, right? I mean, voting is supposed to be fair, that everybody has a voice, and I'm totally in agreement with that one. Um, yeah. Work in the medical field, you get fingerprinted. It should be the same to vote. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand the basis for the argument. They're like, oh, it's discouraging to families. Like, okay. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Like, we have the right to vote, right? But we also should have the right to fairness. That if these five people don't belong here, that they should not be voting. I also don't fully understand the prisoner thing. Like, I guess originally, like it was like if you had felonies, you were no longer allowed to vote. Um, I'm not sure how. I don't know. That one's kind of a sketchier one as well. Like if you murder somebody, you come back out again. I feel like you should not be a person that could craft or put some. I feel like at that point you've kind of lost that right. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of weird rules out there. I don't. It just. I don't know. I feel like they should just start over, right? Fair is fair, except when it goes against what your party wants, and then they have to change it around the other direction. is how it's working. So anyway, we'll get off the soapbox now. So 10 o'clock, 13 minutes, we're gonna have the BOC monetary policy statement. I think it's gonna be on any other day, this would be a heck of a trade setup. I'd be looking on both, dollar CAD, but also CAD yen. I think CAD yen would be a great trade setup, and that may be the way to play it. But unfortunately, I feel like with the PPI the way that it was, with Powell speaking today, I feel like it's going to get lost in kind of it's going to get lost in just, it's just going to be noise today. If you look at even like the CAD yen right now in the 30-minute, it's staying within like kind of a pretty small range. It's in about 27 pip range. So it's ideally really not set up for a whole lot. And I do think that we're going to have positive CAD news today. Again, they're ahead. They were the first ones to mention tapering, that the economy looked great. Um, One of those things. I think it's a good place to be, with CAD strength, and we've seen it in the overnight. I mean, dollar CAD is down 60 pips right now. What 60%, 70% of a daily ATR. So it's a decent mover, right? I just feel like a lot of it's already baked in, unfortunately, today. But I am curious to see because, again, remember, as they start rising interest rates, that's something that other countries are going to look like. It's like, hey, listen, if Canada is doing that, then, and again, remember, Canada is kind of behind where they are recovery wise. Like my in-laws there, I guess my father-in-law got two Pfizer's, but my mother-in-law got a mix, a Pfizer and a Moderna. And I guess the World Health Organization just said you should not be mixing doses because we have no data on that. Um, Kind of like how you know, everybody's doing it differently. You could say the same thing that we had no data in the UK, right? For them, for them waiting as long as they did between doses, but then they kicked our butts, right? As far as the kind of where they advanced because that one dose kept so many additional people from getting it. that they paved the way for us. So again, driven by money more than anything else. Although I will say, I did see something today, this morning or last night, that said the World Health Organization is saying that a third dose may actually raise the increase by more than what the benefit would be. So it's the first time we've had a kickback that, yeah, you may not want to get the third one, right? So yeah, so we're seeing different you know different things out there. The one party rule. um, yeah, I think immigration. I'll tell you right now. I mean, in dealing with the immigration situation, it was interesting. It was very eye opening. Melissa coming from Canada, the guy was like basically like, "Yeah, we'll see no problems." Like she gains absolutely nothing coming to the United States, so there's not really a whole lot of fraud coming from that direction. And if I go that direction, it's kind of the same thing. There's not a whole lot, but you still. I mean, it's expensive to get a lawyer. It's like $6,000. I mean, it's a lot of fees that you pay to the government for really nothing. Um, and it's a weird situation. Like Melissa had to do biometric appointments where they like scan her eyes and fingerprint her and do all these things. Again, to come here, you got to be fingerprinted. But they did eye scans like I think it was good for every 6 months. So like the entire immigration process for her to get her PR card took like a year and a half. She had to get her eyes scanned 3 times or 4 times. Like your retina changes that often, right? But yeah, they did it every 6 months. They would scan her retina and then fingerprint her again, like her fingerprints changed. Like I don't know if they thought magically like they smuggled her in and then like another woman would try to replace her to move to the United States. I don't know. I don't know what the rationale was behind it, but yes, many hours spent just her doing biometric stuff to get into the country. So immigration is very weird. And now, and again, remember, immigration is a hot topic, right? Because certain presidents were putting kids in cages. Now we're saying that I saw it this morning. Any refugees coming from Cuba right now are going to be turned away if they come by boat. We don't want them. Can't have them. So it's okay to jump the border, right? Run across the ground. But if they come by boat, and again, Mexico is a little bit different than Cuba, right? We know that the conditions in Cuba are worse, but they basically, immigration said that we will be turning away. If you come by boat, you will be turned back around. You're not allowed to stay here. You have to go home. Which again, kind of sounds contradictory. If I run across a land border illegally, I'm allowed to stay. But if I come across a boat because I'm being persecuted in Cuba, which everybody knows exists, right? People disappear all the time, right? It's the government there that does it, not the drug cartels, right? You're going home. Can't come by boat. So, again, kind of seems hypocritical to me, but hey, somebody's making a buck on it. Neuro, probably, right? Probably, right? The refugees are going to be, they're going to offend the sensibilities. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I know people that have visited Cuba. They said it's such a cool country to visit, though. So, yeah. Anyway, crude oil at 10:30. I think that'll be a decent trade today. Again, expecting another negative. It's that chart has been really funky. I mean, we've had some spikes this morning. OPEC is still kind of like, what should we do? Which I think OPEC is using the magic 8 ball to figure out what they're going to do. But a lot of kind of a lot of grumbling back and forth there, right? Um, Powell obviously starts talking to 12. We've seen his pre-comments. They got to blast him with questions today. Um, they're going to have to hit him with questions. I just can't imagine them not. Um, yeah, I'm waiting. It's like, yeah, I just can't see them taking it easy on him. I mean, we have elections getting ready to come up, right? So, people are going to start. I mean, there's mayor content. They got to be talking about it. Because if we're not recovered, that means people are still hurting. I mean, we're the recovered or we're not. If we're not, that means people are hurting. That means people want answers. Yeah, they better. There's got to be something. And then tonight, obviously, the unemployment and unemployment change. Now, I'm all over this one. I think this one is great. I like this one. I think it's interesting that it's holding. Everybody else has been dropping in their unemployment rate. Now, Australia did have that lockdown in the big cities, so maybe that will affect it slightly, right? But I think that's going to be a decent trade tonight. Like I feel like whatever direction the dollar takes today, and again, it's been more weakness than anything else. If Powell doesn't say anything that is like earth shattering, I feel like this is going to be a great trade setup at 9:30. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to trade it. I have a game tonight at 9, so I'm going to probably miss it. I'm not playing. I got injured on Monday, but I feel like this is a great opportunity. If you guys are around, definitely trade this one. I think this is going to be a good one tonight. And then followed closely right afterwards by GDP. And again, you look at the forecast versus the previous. I mean, 8% sounds great, but not when the last time was 18.3. So yeah, I mean it's Chinese data, so we got to take it with a grain of salt. And then tomorrow morning early, you can see we really don't have much, but we do have the unemployment claims numbers. But Powell tomorrow starts speaking at 9:30. So on a given day, I'd like this one to kind of give us some direction. I like the industrial production month over month. Again, it's still positive, which is good. But Powell speaking tomorrow at 9:30. Again, if they zing them today, I feel like they're going to try to zing them tomorrow too. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because I don't know. Maybe Powell is actually a puppet now, so they won't zing him. Maybe, right? Could be, right? I mean, maybe. What do you guys think? Right? Could be. But yeah. So I mean, that's what we got tomorrow morning. So we'll see. So let's roll over. Let's look into some of these charts. I want to see if there's anything on this yet. Nope. Nope. No news. But the sentiment has changed. The short. Oh, it went up one more. So a couple days ago, this was the exact opposite on oil. It was 52 long, 48, and now it's switching. Now we're down to 47. It was 52 about a half hour ago. So more people are switching to short oil now. I know that makes James very upset. James loves his oil. All right, so let's go across and let's start with Aussie. So, Aussie. Aussie dollar is still within that range. We talked about 75.24, 74.11. And again, we drew this yesterday. We were sitting right here yesterday. All we did is we kind of pushed down, didn't put new highs in, really didn't get past this, and we're still kind of going through that no man's land. And again, if I extend the yellow area, this is that area of interest. And again, not necessarily trading off of it, but you can see, I mean, the original base here, it did a base here, kind of chopped through, went a little bit below, but again, we based in it again, we turned it again, we turned it again. We had this kind of hiccup here. So right now, it's dealing with all the sellers in this level. Um, since what? Since 5 o'clock this morning, we've had nothing but dollar weakness come in. Being around that 10 o'clock time, we are seeing reversals in a lot of the dollar pairs. So, could it turn and roll here? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you mark this off, yeah, there's a basing level in there. And again, that was the big push down, and we got front run. So that's kind of what we're in. Will we run all the way back down? Maybe. I would say right now, with this going higher and this weakness, it is more set up for a headline from Powell that is, on the positive side of things. So there could, I was going to say, it's kind of getting to the stage where, again, we're getting close to the pink. I would say that it's probably setting up more for a short right now. Would I just take it off of this area? It's all right. It's all right. I mean, I'd like to see a little bit more basing in that level, but I mean, there's a potential turn to this one. We could. I mean, it's got 40 pips to run back to the downside. I don't think we really have any super clean buyers until this 41. Probably this 74.20-ish level, but 74.11 in that range, in that little 10 pip area. I'd say it's more set up for a short. So let me see. Pull Nadex real quick. Trying to see what we have up here. 75, 74, 50. That one's way off. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot close. The closest ceilings are up at the 74.50 level, but again, it's basically putting us in the hole about $30. Just doesn't really make sense on any of on the call spreads. The knockout wise, let me see here. There is a 74.87, right? It got pretty close, but is coming back in the right direction. It's only got about $14 worth of risk. That one's not bad, but like I said, I think it is a little bit risky. But again, it's decent. It's not bad. I'd like a call spread over a knockout, but at least it's something that with defined risk. So if you're ready for the reversal, again, there is that knockout, and that knockout is sitting. What did I say? 74.87. 74.87, right there. Turn that sucker purple. Right there. All right. So you can kind of see where it's at. So, it's all right. It's all right. Again, it'd be a decent one for a run back to the downside. Now, Aussie yen. As you can see here, Aussie yen, we talked about it coming down, and it did. It touched. We were looking for this 2 o'clock one. It actually came down and touched it at 5. So We missed it by just a little bit, but it did what we thought it was going to do, and then just it pulled right back up again. So, I think at this point we'll remove that. Both levels are still good for news tonight. I'd like to see this pull down. Actually, what I'd like to see this one do is kind of pull down and be settled here for the Australian news tonight. If we can get this guy to come down, whoops. Let's do a different color here. We'll do orange. If we can push down to that level, I think 8209 is a decent area to go long from tonight. And again, see where the call spreads and everything are for that one. I think that could be. I'm leaning more towards the long side for this release because I think the Aussie. I don't think they're changed. They're not obviously raising the interest rate, but I do think there will be some language. I think there'll be some language that could be good, right? Um, as far as the Aussie goes. So again, 8209 is the level that I'm looking for. And again, that's the aggressive side. Remember, the original level was here, right? There was the original level. We're just playing the more aggressive kind of entry where the buyer stepped in last time on that one. All right. Euro pound. So you can see Euro pound again. We expected this one to go down. We're looking for that strength to come in. 10 o'clock just hit, so the CAD data is out. So let's see what the CAD data looks like. Like I said, I'm not expecting a change here. It's more the rate that I'm looking for. Yeah, confirmed. Because I have CAD yen up on my other chart, and it just gave us like a 30 pip spike right into a 30-minute level. So I don't have the report right away, but in a second or there we go, right here. I'm trying to see what they're going to say. Reinforce and supplemented the bank's quantitative easing pride, which we adjusted the target on pace for 2 a week. And the bank's increased confidence in the strength of the economic. There we go. I don't want to read this whole thing. I'll get the highlights in a little bit. But there is the CAD news. So again, they're kind of affirming it. They didn't say much more. We'll see what the headlines through. But again, them just confirming it isn't necessarily the best for it. No agreement. Here you go. No agreement has been reached yet with OPEC Plus. Because, man, who would think that United Arab Emirates is causing this much of a headache? And it's because they need an unanimous decision. Unanimous, not unanimous. Unanimous decision is what the linchpin is for that one. But anyway, you can see this is what we were calling for. We're looking for a short, decent. We're waiting for 84.90 for a pullback. Again, I'd still wait for it to come down, but you can see the chop back and forth. There's nothing spectacular there. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm watching the CAD number. So they must have basically just said, yep, we reaffirm everything, but we're not ready to do anything yet, is I'm sure what the policy is. It is crazy that it tagged that 30-minute level. Like literally spiked up, grabbed it, and then turned and rolled on that one. It's a nice little move there, too. What do we got here? Got 50 pips in that one already. Yeah, very curious to see. Dollar CAD's not moving as much. It should be coming back down again. We'll see how that one goes. But as far as Euro pound, not a whole lot else there. If we look to see news for the rest of the week, we got one, little bit of talk tomorrow, not much, and then nothing on Friday. So not too much in the works for that. I'd expect a little bit grindy. Actually, this may actually even pull up a little bit more, but 84.90 is the next trade I'm looking for there. You could mark off this zone, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best. We never even got the pullback to the area of interest level, so we can technically, we'll remove that now, just not confuse people for next week. If I put it in there. I'm trying to think, do I want to put a base in there? But probably not. I'll probably wait till it goes higher again. Probably wait for it to pull up a bit. It's the 15th. Claim account. There's a couple small things tomorrow. Yeah, maybe keep track of this one and look at this one tomorrow morning at the open if you guys are up. I'd be okay with this. Take it along from there. Right. All right. Euro yen. So Euro yen has been pushing down. I would say, again, the 131.02 is definitely an area we got to keep out for. 129.30 is a higher level time frame. Level that we like. The problem with this one right now is where it is pushed down to. There's a lot of kind of chopping in here. Again, buyers, 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 and then we kind of took off. And again, buyers here, buyers here. So the swings keep getting higher, higher, and higher. And if you look to the left from where we are right now, that's where we're running into. So I would say any type of basing and confirmation, I do like this one to roll back to the top side. That's why I was again, talking about the Euro pound. I actually liked it to pull up a little bit. So I think this one is decent for a long. I don't have the best entry for it though. I don't really, although I mean, like I said, I like the fact that we have all this buying in here. Again, higher, 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 higher. It keeps going. It doesn't really give us a great a whole lot of analysis as far as or a lot of kind of you know analyzing this to pull like good levels from it is very hard because it literally spikes down and comes higher and spikes down and comes higher and spikes down and comes higher. So, you know, I would say the best one is probably down here at 129.74, but we're so close anyway to the next level at that point. You may just want to, you know, kind of go with it. So, I think it'll be a lot of this where it keeps picking up and whipsawing. It's the big question is where the buyer's going to step in. So I'd like to find something long. I just don't have an entry necessarily for it yet. You can see most of this movement also occurred from the 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock window. We got to that 9 o'clock and we've started to slow down. So Powell will be able to affect this one slightly because of the yen, but I think there's better opportunities out there to be able to play this one. But right now, again, if you are short, just be cautious. Make sure you're trailing your stop down because there will be buyers that step in. Which one of these levels in here? None of them really has a great rating for me. So, you know, if you want to try to run all the way down to 129.30, it's only 70 pips. It may not necessarily be a bad idea. Again, that would be European weakness, and there's not really a whole lot of European news in the next couple of days. Um, Euro dollar. So, Euro dollar has been basically running up from this morning, right? We had the kind of the 3 o'clock window. We had the pullback at 5, and then boom, it's pushed up. Now you can see that it's halted, right? So we've stopped. We're kind of moving sideways. We spent an hour and a half in the same level, right around 118.20 ish level. I would say now being 10-10-30, it looks like we're getting more into a short opportunity here. Also, because with Powell getting ready to speak, I mean, by saying we're going to do absolutely nothing, I think that's already baked into the market. I feel like, I mean, he's kind of made those comments that, like, yeah, we expected this. We knew this was going to happen. Absolutely. Right. And again, I don't know if this was prepared in like January or what. Um, but if he does surprise everybody, it's he can't surprise to the down to the negative side. He's already said that comment. Could he make a comment? And again, remember, if you look at Powell's speeches in the last few months, he says one thing one day, and then the next day he kind of counterbalances it in the other direction. So I would say at this point, if we can find something back to the downside, there could be a short position here that we, is probably worth taking. Do we set something up along these lines? It could be, right? If we run back down, the next area of buyers is here. This is a 3.7. So a 3.7 is a decent runner back to the downside. Let me see what we got here. Call spreads. Let me go across euro dollar. Let's see. Indicative is what do we got here? Man, those are jacked up too. There's not a call spread close. The best one is quite a ways away. It's 16 pips away. We need some more movement. The dailies, those are even worse. Let's see if we have a call spread on this one or a knockout. No, not even close. All right, so how do you play this one? I would say look for a retrace. I'd see this one coming back down into this level. That's where I'd be looking to take profit. It's already starting to move, but again, 10 o'clock reversal at that time. I think that's what you got to be looking for. So, I would say bearish the euro dollar the rest of the day. I would say bullish strength because, like I said, I don't think Powell can disappoint anymore. If he does, basically to say, yeah, we're looking at maybe we still reaffirm the 2023. Uh, you know, I think the market is prepared for some strength talk. But I would take this one short. And again, is it in a great level? Not really. I mean, this level's decent. This level's, I don't know, let's see on a 15. Can we find anything good? Not really. I mean, it was, basically here. So maybe we use that as our top side, but we're getting a lot of basing in there. So more of an aggressive short in there, right? Pound yen. So pound yen, again, I talked about the euro pound coming back up again. That would require European strength, pound weakness. As you can see, this one has been pretty decent to the downside. This one initiated really at same thing about 6 o'clock this morning. Let me bring it back up to the 30-minute. I was like, these are stretched out a little bit. There we go. You get this, impulse, corrective move, and impulse. We're running into levels right now, and I can shrink this. I mean, this is just this area of interest has been hit here, 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 here. So it's running through it right now. I do like the 152.43 area. and that would require an additional what 30 pips to the downside, which would coincide with what we wanted to see in the euro yen as well as the euro pound. So right now it's too late to get in. You're too far and too deep into the movement. From that kind of peak turn, it's been about 64 to the downside. If we do hit the 152.41, I think there's a potential for that one to roll and then bounce. So uh, just got to be patient, see if it comes down. Pound dollar. So I was hoping we'd get all the way up. I was looking for a short at 139. I got the basing here at the 8:30 and then 9, 10 o'clock, and it's starting to push. Um, this one is rough because we had pound strength and then we had dollar strength step in, and then we have some pound weakness coming in, but then we also had some dollar weakness come in. Right now, again, we're seeing a little bit of dollar strength across the board, kind of coming back a little bit, right? Which is kind of helping this one play down. But again, if we're looking for different areas of buyers, you can see. I mean, we had here's the news. The news was straight up again, very expected, but we had some basing and a pop of it, a pullback and a pop of it. So there's a few levels it needs to chunk through. The reason why I was waiting for a little bit higher, again, we have a confirmation here, a confirmation here. I was waiting for one push. Didn't quite get it. I'm kind of hoping now with this 10:30 we get one more push up. If we can get up to that level before Powell speaks, I think that's a decent level. Um, Looking at this one, let me go across. Where is it? So 139.03. There's a 35. That one's even. Yeah, so there's a 138.70. Um, Basically, there's a pound dollar contract. I'll put it out there so you guys can see it. There's a call spread sitting there at 138.70, which is right there. Um, and again, this is if you believe in that we're going to continue to have this reversal today. It's very low risk. It's only $8 worth of risk to the downside. I mean, maybe it goes higher, but it's $8 risk. To get the reward on that one, you need it to move basically down to here, right? That's not very big of a move, particularly if Powell gives us anything dollar strength wise. The expiration on this one would be there, right? So right, 10 now. It would be. Oh no, it would be at 15. So it would be right there, right there, right there. Um, so, like I said, it's in close range, very, very low risk. Those are the ones that we like to take. Some say that it's kind of a gamble. Yeah, it is. But again, there's profit taking. We expect dollar strength to come in from what Powell is saying. $8 risk on that one is really not that much whatsoever per contract. Take 3 contracts, 4 contracts. You're risking $25, right? Is what you're going to typically risk on a binary. This thing suddenly spikes down 30 pips, 40 pips, and you're making $30 or $40 a contract. There's a $200 trade, right? Risking 20, risking risking $25 to make 100, 150, 200 in the other direction. Not a bad risk to reward. So I think there's not a bad setup there. Um Dollar CAD. So yeah, there's the dollar CAD. Um we were looking for the break and all it did was come down. Now, I will say based off the way that this looked, you would have been looking to go long. It kind of pushed down and you can see that it was stabilizing and holding at these levels again. Buyers here, right before news. I mean, you had to expect it, right? And it did. Decent jump, right? It had about a 60 pip jump forward, about a 36 pip back. So not surprised at all. We talked about CAD weakness coming in, or CAD strength coming in. Unfortunately, they said that nothing is going to change. We're good, and it was a very, very weak statement, and that's what led to this one, top to bottom. So it's in, but again, we expected an explosion. There was your explosion. Dollar CAD again. I mention this all the time. So let me go across and let's see. I'm curious to see if this one actually burst through or not. Let's see. Dollar CAD, dollar CAD, dollar CAD. Here we go. We have our 9 to 11s. The one that sucks about this one is it has a 20 pip strike differential. When they came out, the middle contracts would have been basically the 124.70s. Let's drop this down to 5 minutes. Let's see. At 9 o'clock. Yeah, we've been here. Actually, oh yeah. 60. Yeah, it would have been priced right in this level. So, with price now up at 130. Oops, hold on. Let me click on one of these. The price at 125.04. Yeah, so it almost went through all the strikes. It missed the last one. Oh no. Yeah, it got right up to the second to last one. So it wasn't bad. So it jumped three strike prices on this one. Um, Again, not as I don't like the dollar CAD over at Natix as much. I mean, like I said, it's a 2 hour binary with a 20 strike or a 20 pip strike differential. Kind of a lot. I feel like they need to take that down. But right now, um, I would say, I mean, really, I'd like to see this go a bit higher, to be honest with you guys. Um, like I said, it took that nice bounce. We were looking for shorts. Um, but at this point, every other pair is kind of setting up. So yeah, there's probably a bit of a pullback on this one. But I think we look to go long. I think this, remains up today. Or it's, again, slightly negative right now, but I think this one pushes higher. Again, we got to chunk through some of this, and that's what it ran into was these sellers. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I just feel like Powell has to say something. I feel like he made those comments that were pretty dovish. If he makes a, very like hawkish comment, I feel like this has the power to go. Um, yeah, but again, off this news, that'll probably be a bit of a parabolic retracement. But yeah, I think we go higher on this one. Um, I think where we take entry from it though. I don't know, maybe a pullback. I mean, there's a decent level there that they've been respecting. Oops. Maybe a burst of that, but again, we got this level here, and that's a strong level. Hmm. There might be better ways to play this one because again, this was weak CAD, strong dollar, strong dollar, strong dollar. News on top of it tends not to go as far as some of the other things that were weak first. So I like this one green, but I think all the trades are done. Like I said, hopefully you guys ended up getting this long, but that was a pretty easy long down here before news. Dollar Swiss. Ba-ba-ba-bum. There we go. All right, so you can see we're bouncing between two levels. We were sitting, here's yesterday morning, here's yesterday afternoon. We hit that level again, and then we hit that level again this morning at 5:30 and pushed us back down again. I mean, question is, can we clear all this? Hmm. Can we make it there? Let me see. Um, it's 40 pips down. Got less than 2 hours. I don't know that we can cover 40 pips in less than 2 hours, particularly having a chunk through this data here. I do think it's a decent area to get like. Let me see where are the strikes at. Hmm. Problem is we need this to go lower. When we get closer to 12, look at some of the strikes a little bit higher. Um, Again, unfortunately, the binaries on this one are also 20 apart, which but there's a 7 p.m. for this later today that may be decent. Um, hmm, 2 hours or four. I'd like to find a place to get long. But I don't really love any of these down here. Oh, the girl's moving. I can hear the thump, 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 thump. Probably that level, because again, it's kind of tested there. So, yeah, maybe we look for something off that level. 91.41. I really don't love it though. Mm, Just trying to look to see if there's any like hidden call spreads or anything in there. No, there is not. It's all the way at 92. No, this one really doesn't have a lot in it. Trying to see if there was a good one, but I don't really see much in that one, unfortunately. No good products, no good product placement. Let me see. I doubt there's anything over here. What are we looking at? 91.40. I mean, I get there's a 90. So there is a 91.41 knockout, but 91.41 puts us kind of right here, right in front of the zone. And I think that's a little bit risky. I think that one will get popped later today. Actually, I'm almost positive that one gets popped if we continue to push down. So I think getting long this one is decent, but I don't know if we're going to get as much movement as we'd like to pull out of it. Um, Again, I think keep on your radar. Again, this level has been, it's barely breached anything in there. 92, it seems like it's a big sticking factor. If we can get up there again, maybe, we look for a short in the overnight. Once Pal's done talk, I know maybe he gives us enough movement up, and then we look for a short in the overnight on that one. Now, pound yen, kind of talked about this, right? 7:30 since 8 o'clock, really straight down for the PPI data. It's now found an area of stabilization. It actually did blow through this one. I thought this would give a little bit more of a kind of a kind of a sticking point, but it ended up slicing right through. And again, I thought that was a decent level. We had basically a one candle base. It's not at the bottom, right? It's kind of a more of a wick over wick on the larger time frame. Pull down, and we had a one candle base here, and then a very very nice push out of it. So really really surprised that it didn't get more. It went down and grabbed the buyers here, and now it's starting to base. I will say though, based off where we are with this, and again, if we move this down slightly, just to give us a level of risk, I like the way this one is set up, right? We've pushed all the way down. It's kind of a parabolic retracement scenario. There is, 7 pips worth of risk on that one, so it's not a whole lot. If you look at the knockouts here, let's see. I thought there was one that was decent. There's a 109.64. Still a bit too far away. 45 is a bit too much. I was hoping we get something closer. Let me see. Dollar yen. Let's see. One. So there is a 110.12 weekly call spread, which I think is not horrible. It's got about $20 worth of risk. It's got about what, 2 days, 2 days and 4 hours worth of time left on it. It is a 110.12 sitting right there, right, going up. And then where is it? 110.12 to 112 something. Yeah, so like way up there. I don't think it's going that far. But there's one kind of small potential, right? It's not horrible. We're just a little bit outside in a decent level of buying. And again, if it rallies back up into the 60 range, again, it's about 60 pips worth of risk. It being 20, it may have a little bit much, but I think if they bring dollar strength, then I think this has the ability to run. We don't really have any crazy sellers up until 110.90, so there's a lot of room to run to the top side. I don't know. I feel like Powell can sandbag this one, and the dollar yen hasn't been my favorite position to play the last couple months. But that's one that's not horrible. And again, it's a call spread, so again, if it comes lower, all you lose is that $20. But there's more potential to the top side than anything else. I wouldn't play this one with knockouts right now. Switching gears, let's go up to the indices. So indices, talk about this level at 43.83. Let's drop this down to a 15-minute. So the PPI data was good. Sellers have stepped in there in the past. We really need a break of the 143.83 before we can go long. The way that it's stabilized now and held, it kind of pulled back at the open at that 9:30 mark, and it's now held. That's a decent sign for this 10:30ish time frame that it is holding. If we can rally one more green, I think it's time to go long. I think based off of what Pal says, I think we can hit 4,400 today. Especially if he's saying that, yeah, we expected all this. We knew this was going to happen, right? All the rhetoric that he's basically mentioned, I think we push up, and the fact that it's holding is decent. If for some reason we do collapse down in the next hour or two, I think there's again, we can use the basing level here as our kind of launching point at 143.69 ish, right? Again, decent base. It did it at 8 o'clock in the morning, so it's kind of right when futures traders are coming online. But based off of what his statements were earlier, you know, it's the status quo, right? Nothing's going to change. We're going to keep it. We're going to keep rolling the way we do. I think you got to go high for this one. NQ, similar situation. You can see the same sellers that got us before we hit 15,000 have stepped in yet again, and we missed it by 4 points. So, it is rallying back up again a bit higher. I think 15,000 is cooked today. I think we definitely hit it. I'm actually shooting for 1550. And again, we talked earlier in the week. We talked earlier in the week about grabbing something. Right, earlier in the week we would have been over in here. We talked about getting a buying opportunity that we are going to end green. So it's up green. There was a great buying opportunity on the 13th, and again we are up now pushing higher. So I like this one. I think Pal gives us the wet noodle statement today. I think we go up when we touch 1550. I think people want that. All of them are green. Everybody feels really really positive right now. Happy. Yeah, I think it's a let's go scenario. YM is pulled back a little bit, and it's also stabilizing. It didn't come all the way back down again. The same level before what we saw again. We hit it here, kind of base right below it, kind of broke it, peaked its head, and then pulled right back again. So I think what it's doing is it's looking for orders to kind of make that next really big attempt. There's obviously a smaller one sitting right there on the 15-minute, coming in right here. And like I said, unless Powell comes in with some type of crazy, you know, unless he comes in with some type of crazy statement that everybody's like, "What? What did he just say?" I think Dow also has the ability to go higher. Now, manufacturing has looked good. PPI is kind of a weird one for this though, because as goods and services are higher, they typically they're paying more for the goods coming in, so they're passing it on to the customer on the back end. So it's not. I would say of the three, the PPI number doesn't help the YM as much as it helps kind of the ES or the NQ. Um, but I think I think we look for some buyers if we can stabilize in this level, especially before 12. I think that's a decent go opportunity. Okay. Looking at oil. So oil is coming off in 6 minutes. It does not look like it is stabilized in any way that we are liking, and it's kind of pulled back up. So let's see. Let's pull this 8:30. Right now we're in this little scenario. Let me see. Did not pull the report. Um, where is it? There we go. So let's see. It came in. So the forecast for API was 4.3. It came in at 4 flat, so it was a little bit off to the downside. And again, I think it's it hasn't given us a big push either way. So, right now, if you're looking at it since the morning hour, since about 8:30, again, we have our impulse correction, and pulling up. We haven't. It's not really sitting in a level. We have the stabilization, but I don't know. I mean, even on a 1 minute, let me see here. Mm, It's holding, I would say. I mean, the way that it looks, it does look like it's more of kind of a down thing, right? If you're kind of blocking that area off. I mean, it did stabilize here around that 10 o'clock time frame and then push just a little bit higher. And again, we're kind of holding. This is kind of the stabilization I'm looking, not as much here, but it is kind of more set up to the downside. So let me see. What do we got? Let's see how jacked up these are today. Hmm. Price currently at 74.83. There is a 74.25, which is sitting right here, right? It's about $18 worth of risk in a 2 hour. Let me see the dailies real quick. Number at a time on this one. Oops, not gold. Nope, not gold. Um, let's see. 50 for the same level of risk, it's requiring a 74. It's requiring that, which again, it's barely out of the blue. Um, that one's not bad. I'm trying to see. Now it's starting to pulse a little bit. I wish that was a better level. That's really not the best level. Um, hmm. I wish it was a little bit cleaner than that. I would say that it's more set up for a short right now, but it's not. This is not one of those ones that I'm like, yeah, I like that one. That's a good. That's a great level. But I mean, there's your risk level on your 2 hour and your daily. Your 2 hour would obviously end at 12, right? Which would be here, right there. I say 74.20, and then the 74 here would be what 230. Um, so 1430, which would be right there, right? So I don't know. This one's okay today. Um, it's kind of in a weird area. EIA number came in as a negative, so we'll see how that one pops. I would say it's if I had to make my like if I was forced to make the trade on this one, I would say that I'm leaning more towards the downside. But if it comes in as a surprise at the top, that wouldn't necessarily, like I said, that base that we're pricing this one off of literally spent like 20 minutes there, so it was really not the cleanest of bases, and you can't even see it on the 5 minute. You can see it on the 1 minute, but that's not the cleanest of bases to pull back to. Like I said, it's like a high base and then it kind of touched, so it's kind of actually I guess you would kind of cream it in there. So it's holding there. right? Any other thing I would say definitely down, but again, having this kind of having this spike here kind of mess up a lot of the analysis. That kind of like really, it's $1.20 spike, right? Did nothing in the overnight. It was great, perfect setup. Was like loving it, and then all of a sudden 7 o'clock, it's like dink dink, $1.50. Dollar. What was it? $1.20, $1.20, $1.10. Um, that kind of screwed up a lot of the movement this morning. So yeah, we'll see. Comes out in a minute. Let's go across gold. All right, so this is 1 minute on gold. I was like, yeah, we don't need that craziness. So gold really like PPI, and again, seeing all that inflation, like, yeah, baby, and that's why gold took off. And then, kind of, at this 9 o'clock time frame is when you saw Powell's statement, and you're like, wah wah wah, for the inflation aspect, because we saw it, we knew it. It's going to be like this for months. Ha! I never made a comment about July, which kind of sucked this one back down again. So you know, this one probably has the potential to move later with what Powell says. He's got to acknowledge it. If he talks about it, I would say look to go long with gold on this one. Again, we finally broke through that 1814 after all that kind of pushback. And you can see it was chopping, 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 and then based in it again. So, you know, could it be a launching point? Yeah. Whoops, Jinjin is very unhappy right now. That level's right around the 1818 mark. I think today, if, I would say look for this one to rally up. I mean, if any day has the potential for him to acknowledge that inflation exists and inflation is real, it's got to be today. There's 2 days in a row, CPI and PPI both were big. This would be the day. So it driving back before he speaks, I think, is not unheard of. Like I said, it started off great with the number, and then his statement. I mean, this statement, it's like, yeah, we're not easing anything. Nah, we expected this, right? We're not doing. We're yeah, yeah. I think that definitely hurt this one a lot. So we'll see. But yeah, I think that's probably a decent level to get long if you wanted something later on today. I don't know. Let me see. Is there anything there even remotely close? Um, Commodities, gold, 1818. No, there's an 1811. There's an 1811 knockout down here, um, sitting right there. Right? 1811 knockout. It's a little bit far for this news, right? I mean, it'd have to come down and really start basing. I think there'd be a little bit riskier on that one. So probably a binary. Wait for like another hour, hour and a half. Wait till right around 12 o'clock, and then maybe play something. You know, you know, maybe play something. Um, yeah, maybe the 2 hours. It closes at 1:30, so probably. I guess you would have to use the 11. I guess you could use. I think there's an 11 to 1. I'm not 100% sure, but there may be an 11 to 1. If not, you can use the daily. The 11 to 1 would have a smaller differential, I believe. Um, what is it? It is 3 versus the daily is 6. So yeah, if there is a 2 hour and 11 to 1, you could probably trade that one. I think that would be a better one. And then I'm looking to go long, take some minor risk on it. Again, you'd eat up sometime. He speaks at 12. I know that there can't be a 12 to 2. That's why I'm not sure if there is a 12 to 130. But that would be the ideal one, right? To be able to take that one long off of what he says. Now, silver is also pulling back. Again, we had the level of 2637. We talked about, watch it. It wasn't the cleanest levels, and it literally came up, and you can see that it peaked its head and then kind of rolled back down again. So, ideally on this one, 2666 and 2585 are the two levels that we are looking for and holding. We are in the in the blue level, so it's kind of one of those ones that, you got to watch it. It's like, oh, what are we doing here? Um, but you know, besides that, I mean, silver's just going to be whippy. I think silver also tries to go long. Unfortunately, I mean, really, I wouldn't use the area of interest. Let's move that right now. If we can pull back to here in the next hour and a half, I think there is probably a decent level there. Getting in right around that 26. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up at like 2650 later on today. Let me see if there's anything call spreads. Silver. Um, and there is. There's actually a 26 call spread right there. And again, it's a daily, but again, if you want to take a shot at something, you can probably get in for some small risk. It's not going to have a lot of premium jacked into it. Um, right? We got to wait for it to come back down again. So if we're able to push back down again, I think that's decent if we can push down. But that 26 call spread is not horrible. I would not get into it right now. It needs to pull down, right? It needs to pull down. Um, All right, let's see. Let's see what the gold number was. Crude oil. I'm sorry, not gold. Crude oil. I know it's in. Come on, it's 10:33. Come on, the number can't be delayed. Come on, Forex Factory. I was like, oh, it's gonna it goes. Um, oh, maybe it is delayed. Yeah, it's already starting to pull back down. Let's see. What is it? Come on. Are they still counting the barrels? They got to be counting the barrels, right? No, it's not even giving it to me. Oh wait, now it's tentative. What do you mean tentative? Come on, give me the answer. Oh, make me go over here. Uh, is crude oil not on this one? I thought crude oil was over here. Why are you giving me the tentative number? Oh, awaiting delayed data. Womp womp womp. They couldn't keep up, right? Yeah, actually, Ernest, that's probably what it is. They're waiting, they're cooking it. It's like, wait, hold on, right? Because it's supposed to be negative. I don't know, maybe it's a huge surplus, right? That's what it is. There's oh my god, there's way too much oil here. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're gonna crash the market if we do it. So yeah, yeah, it's always funny. You don't see that often, right? It's delayed. We're waiting. It's kind of funny. So I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and we'll do the drawing for today. Why this is happening? Why we're waiting for the delay here? So all right, looks like we got 7 of you guys in, 8 tickets purchased. It looks like Neuro's in for 2. It is Wednesday, so it is the 50 pip chip day. So we'll see how that goes. Who we have some Will's in there, Debbie's in there, Marina's in there, Sean's in there, Neuro's in there. Look at this. Ernest is not participating today. So must be nice. Oh my god. Yeah. That's right, Ernest. You know what my new gripe is? So here's my new gripe, right? You go on Amazon, right? I love Amazon. I love Prime. I will only buy things that are Prime, right? But now the thing recently that pisses me off is I'll click something because it says, "Oh, Prime delivered by today," right? So I'm clicking on it because it says it will be delivered. Like I was looking at something yesterday, right? It said it would be delivered yesterday between 2 and 6. I was like, "Oh, okay, 1 day delivery." I think that's the coolest thing that I can order it in the morning and then get it later in the day. But then once I buy it, it says, your package will arrive tomorrow. It's like, then why did you tell me it was coming today? I feel like that is false advertising, right? You told me today, dude. There was plenty of other primes that I knew I would have gotten yesterday, but I picked that specific one because it said today. And then you let me down. You let me down. The womp, womp, womp. So, all right, we're up to 8. Looks like Ernest is doing his I'm going to snipe the end piece of it. Sean is going in and trying to play the good odds today. Nero's in there. The girls are in with their singles, and Will's just doing it. Will, Silent, Eki are in with their. I'm gonna go with the status quo. All right, let's see what it is here. So let's close giveaway and see who the winner of today's drawing is. Eki, that's exactly what I'm saying, my friend. Exactly, right? A little bait and switch action. All right, winner of today's drawing is. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Neuro had that typed already. He was just ready to go with that one. It didn't matter who won. I think I think he would have actually, even if it was him, his finger was already coming on the button. I feel like that's how it would have worked. Leaderboard, where is Eki? Let's see. Get you your 50 pip chips. There we go. Look at that. Decent, decent, decent. All right, let's see. Is this out yet? Or are they still counting oil? I feel like they are still counting. Hey, don't rat me out. Say, no, I knew you had it typed already. I knew it. I knew it. Man, how is this? I'm like, come on, guys. I'm just flabbergasted that this is still delayed. Like now I'm kind of like they're not even updating it over here. Yeah. Although look, it went back up again. It was 47.53. Now it's back up again. So yeah, oil is stuck. So should be 75. Yeah, you're right. Well, I didn't. Yeah, we didn't do Monday. Actually, we tried to do yesterday. So it actually, okay, it didn't broadcast yesterday because Restream was having problems, but I did do the presentation yesterday. It did actually happen yesterday, right? But no, yeah, Melissa's home now, but she's like getting stiff now. So she was still having contractions when she left, but they sent her home. So baby is still in. There's no new baby here yet. If there is, I wouldn't have been. I'd have had the coffee IV drip in. Um, but yeah, now she's like, yeah, her whole right side is stiff, and I'm like, you can probably go to a. She's like, can you rub my neck? I'm like, no, no, not that I don't love you, honey, but you know, I was like, not that I don't love you, but you have trauma. Like I'm all for giving you a massage, but like you have trauma, so I don't want to go in there being a like non-medical professional and like screw you up even worse. I was like, now is when you should like call, you know. I was like, I feel like after the accident you should go to the chiropractor, but like, I don't want the chiropractor to like twist your spine and the baby's like, oh, we're coming out. Okay, let's go. 27 weeks is too early. You know, I would feel better if we were like 32. Not that that isn't early, but after 27, we had to look it up, right? After 27, it's there's like a 90% chance that the child will have no long term issues whatsoever. But yeah, but would prefer not now. Like we purposely tried to plan September, October, like early fall, like well, I guess middle fall, right? Not quite winter, but we were shooting for the October time frame, the like late September, October time frame. So we got the perfect timing that we wanted. So if the child comes in July or August, it's kind of like no, no, no. We wanted it. You're push back one more grade in school. So yeah, yeah. Pregnancy massage is great, but if it was just pregnancy massage, Debbie, I'd be cool with it. But the fact that it is a car accident related massage thing, not so much. Um, I still cannot believe that Cruella is not out yet. I am shocked. Like, come on, give us the release here. I mean, it's obviously pulling down, right? So I mean, it's pushed down 10, 15 cents. I mean, we're looking for the two shorts there, so I don't know. I feel like, hey, Ernest, I feel like you were right. I really feel like you were right. I feel like they're trying to figure out how to cook the books, or maybe there's too much oil, and that's what they're like. Wait a second, is this number right? So I'm going to go back and I demand a recount. They're doing the recount right now, is what it is. So all right. With that said, I'm out of here. I heard the little one stomping around and crying. I got to go figure out what she wants. So Melissa gets a break. I'll catch you guys later. We will be around tomorrow morning. So again, we will be doing the double session tomorrow. Nadix at 8:45, and then I'll be jumping on at 9:30, and we'll break down what we have. Tomorrow's not as big, but Pal's speaking a little bit earlier, so maybe we can kind of catch some fun. And don't forget, make sure you guys get on and trade this also tonight. This is going to be a good one. Just with everything today, I'm really hoping that Pal just completely jacks around the markets, and then again we can play a retracement tonight at transient. Yeah, transient oil numbers. Exactly. Dump it in the ocean as we speak. Exactly right. Yeah, you guys are too good with this. Yeah. Somebody call James. James has an inside guy. I bet you James knows what's going on. We have to like do an all points bulletin on James. All right, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good one. Take care, and I'll catch you then.